Subaru Solterra, the only symmetrical all-wheel drive EV. Today, pretty much a carbon copy of yesterday. Mostly sunny, but very windy and very cold. Winds gusting 30 to 40 miles an hour at times. The high only 29 degrees, and those real feel temps in the single digits and low teens. Right now, 24 degrees and sunny with a real feel of just 10. This is 1010 Winds, New York's one and only all-news station. I'm Susan Richard. Winds News Time 8:30.
And a very good morning. I'm Scott Stanford. Well, word in this morning is that Donald Trump has filed an emergency petition with the Supreme Court to block his sentencing, which is set for Friday. He was rejected again yesterday. This time an appeals court rejected Donald Trump's bid to delay Friday's sentencing in that hush money conviction. Again, word coming out this morning that Mr. Trump has filed an emergency petition with the Supreme Court to block his sentencing, which again is set for Friday. Federal prosecutors who indicted Mayor Adams last year on corruption charges have announced that they have uncovered additional criminal conduct by the mayor as part of their investigation into his ties to the Turkish government. They haven't gone into detail on the alleged conduct, but the mayor is pushing back again, telling reporters he's done nothing wrong.
Even Ray Charles can see what's going on. and I have an attorney, Alex Spiro, is handling that.
Spiro says the feds are, quote, just looking for a headline instead of doing the right thing. Adams has pled not guilty to a 5-count indictment charging him with accepting luxury travel in exchange for political favors. Winds News Time 8:31, traffic and transit Wednesday morning. How we looking, Karen Stewart?
Well, here in the city, we've got this Upper East Side delay on the southbound FDR Drive off the Harlem River Drive from the mid to low 130s down to 71st Street. At 71st on the FDR, there's a broken down vehicle, and we've got one lane blocked. And all that heavy traffic on the Upper East Side is making for a very heavy ride inbound at the RFK Triborough Bridge. Plus, at the RFK, we have a wind advisory in effect as we check what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The inbound George is 30 from 8095 and 20 minutes from the Palisades and Route 4. We have a 15-minute Lincoln Tunnel wait, that's it. And the lone wolf of the Hudson River crossings with a 15-minute wait there. The inbound Holland Tunnel has got about a 35-minute delay. Westbound LIE commuters near Van Dam, we got a crash. It blocks one lane. The delays are still back to Maurice Avenue. And the eastbound Jackie Robinson Parkway at Metropolitan still has an abandoned vehicle out there on the right. Somebody needs to come and tow that thing out of there. It's causing delays to go back to Cypress Hill Street on the eastbound Jackie Robinson Parkway. Harlem line of Metro North back on or close to schedule. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes around the clock. Breaking traffic alerts whenever they happen. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Winds on 92.3 FM.
Well, January 8th, 1935, ladies and gentlemen, the birthday of Elvis Presley. Had he still been alive today, the king would have been 90. 90 years old, Elvis Presley. Come on now. Meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Joe, I don't even think the hound dogs want to go outside today, my friend.
No, they don't. They'll probably take a couple of steps outside and say, yikes, then go right back inside. It is cold, it is windy, and those winds are going to be howling all day long today and into tonight and into tomorrow. So another 36 hours of this madness. Our high temperature today, 29, maybe 30 in places, but the real field temperatures, single digits and low teens. That despite some sunshine. Overnight tonight, mainly clear, windy, cold. We'll get down to 21. Windy and cold tomorrow with sunshine for the most part and a high of 32. After that, sunshine will give way to some clouds later on Friday, but the wind won't be nearly as strong, and we'll see a high of about 36 or so. Expect a little bit of snow late Friday night into Saturday morning, a coating of an inch or two, enough to cause some slick spots around the area. Lingering clouds later Saturday, high 35. Right now, sunshine at 24 degrees in Central Park. We're going up to 29 in Midtown. I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg on New York's weather station, 1010 Winds, 92.3 FM.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon letting you know my True Oldies channel is now on 92.3 FM HD3. Check it out.
Powered by River Spring Living, with a beautiful campus overlooking the Hudson River where older adults can live, learn, and flourish. For info, go to riverspringliving.org.
Winds News Time, 8:34. The MTA says first few days of congestion pricing have gone pretty smoothly. Smoothie. I can go for a smoothie right now, except they've gone smoothly. Except for a driver or two trying to beat the tolls by disguising their license plates.
The NYPD has already issued 2 drivers summonses for having obstructed license plates on both the east and west sides of Manhattan. Mayor Adams said a crackdown is coming.
DOT, NYPD, they're going to do their job to crack down on those who are enforcing. But every person who refuses to pay their toll is going to be taking it out of the pockets of those who are paying their toll.
New rules drawn up by the NYPD and DOT will clarify visibility requirements for license plates, barring dirt, rust, glass, or plastic coverings, substances, or materials that render a plate unreadable. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
And one mayor of one cozy Florida city is saying, hey, leave the congestion tolls, take the sunshine. Boca Raton Mayor Scott Singer says, forget the tolls, forget the city, move to the warm, sunny beaches of Boca. Don't forget, you got Meisner Park, little Boca Town Center, all the pickleball you can muster up. Mr. Singer writing on X that NYC commuters are paying just another tax for the privilege of driving on congested roads. He says, how many more reasons do you need to move you and your business to Boca with our low tax rate? Tell you what, Boca sounds pretty good right now. The search is on for the armed robbers who targeted a mail carrier in Brooklyn.
Just days after a USPS employee was stabbed to death in Harlem. In Bed-Stuy, the NYPD are looking for 2 men that robbed a postal worker at gunpoint. Police say it happened in broad daylight when the 39-year-old woman was just delivering packages. Then 2 men approached her and pulled out a gun. They fled on foot towards Green Avenue and Malcolm X Boulevard with all of her packages. A neighbor on this street says she was expecting an important delivery and is wondering if her package is one of the ones stolen.
Yeah, my friend was expecting a package, but I don't know if she got it or not, if maybe it was in the truck.
The suspects were wearing masks and dressed in black. Mary Lynn Buckley, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Bed-Stuy.
Oh, we're going to be seeing a lot more of Fat Joe. He's got a good reason for coming out of retirement. What is it? 1010 Wins Entertainment's coming up next.
I have to leave the spot up with this. Stars in the roof, she's rocks on my wrist.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up. All the way up. All the way up. All the way up.
Hey, don't be surprised if you see Fat Joe giving an acceptance speech later this year. Joe tells Billboard that the only reason he came out of retirement was because he wants to win a Grammy. Says he saw Killer Mike win 3 Grammys, called up Dr. Dre and was like, yo, it's possible. Let's get back in the kitchen and do some cooking. Reba McEntire is going to star and produce in the movie version of the 2013 best-selling novel, The Old Girl Filling Station's Last Reunion. It's about an Alabama woman who uncovers some crazy details about her family's history after finding out she might be adopted. In a social media post, McEntire said she cannot wait to start working with this incredible team.
Entertainment on 1010 Wins is sponsored by Shulman & Hill, New York's injury lawyers.
Go to hurtny.com.
That's hurtny.com.
For over 100 years, Sloman's Home Security has been the trusted name in protecting what matters most, your home and your family.
With 24/7 monitoring and responsive customer service, they provide real security, powered by real people. Because when it comes to safety, the difference is human. The difference is Sloman's. Whether you're at home or away, feel peace of mind knowing Sloman's has your back. From smart home integration to professional installation, they tailor their services to fit your needs. Join the countless homeowners who trust Sloman's. Call Sloman's today at 833-933-SAFE. That's 833-933-SAFE to find out more and secure your home with Sloman's Home Security. Sloman's Home Security, where your safety is their priority. Real protection, real people. Call them now at 833-933-SAFE. Once again, 833-933-SAFE. Because the news is always changing, you got to check back with us 2, 3, 4 times a day. Stay connected.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good morning. We are at 24 degrees, but the real feel says it's more like 4 degrees at 8:40 on Wednesday, January 8th. I'm Scott Stanford. Here's what's happening. To watch those wildfires that broke out in L.A. is terrifying. As over 30,000 people have now been evacuated from the L.A. area, including the Pacific Palisades, the flames getting whipped up by the Santa Ana winds. President-elect Trump now looking to the Supreme Court to block his sentencing in New York on Friday. Police on Staten Island looking for a killer who stabbed to death a 43-year-old woman in her Henderson Avenue home. The wake today for Billy DeMayo, the 25-year-old Homedale, New Jersey resident killed in the New Orleans truck attack. Billy also a beloved member of our Odyssey New York family. Are we getting closer to the era of flying taxis? Well, there are a few American companies looking to change the future of public transportation. Checking sports, Rangers lost to Dallas in overtime. St. John's Hoops, they were a big winner over Xavier last night. Wins News Time 8:41. Traffic and transit. Let's get you back out to the roads. How are we looking now, Karen Stewart?
Well, in Queens, how many people does it take to clear an abandoned vehicle on the Jackie Robinson Parkway? No, that's not a joke. It's a serious question because there it sits, blocking the right lane on the eastbound Jackie Robinson Metropolitan Avenue. We've got delays to go back to Cypress Hill Street. Granted, the speeds are a little bit better than they have been. They might be close to getting rid of this thing, but it's still out there for the time being, and we're looking at it via the 1010 Wins Jam Cam. Still don't know the answer to that question as to how many people it's going to take to clear it. Westbound Delhi, the accident at Van Dam just cleared away, so we no longer have to worry about the accident. However, we do have delays into Van Dam and go back to Maurice Avenue and Maspeth almost to Grand Avenue. As we take a check of what we see on Long Island's Big 3, westbound LIE delays halfway between 40 to 39, and at 39 for Glen Cove Road, it gets heavier. The westbound side of the Southern State is delayed from 28 to 22, and the Northern State with a tiny little delay at the Wantagh Parkway in the westbound direction, and the LIRR is on time. And as we check what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels, a half hour in at the GW Bridge from 8095, only 20 minutes from the Palisades Parkway approach. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, have you seen what's going on in Southern California? These videos are absolutely terrifying. Hurricane-force winds and an 8-month-long dry season are fueling fast-moving flames. Thousands of people continue to be evacuated from their homes. Here's correspondent Rob Hayes, who's in the Pacific Palisades area.
You can't see much right now. It's all thick smoke, but you may be able to hear things exploding, popping. The howling of the wind when this wind gusts through is almost deafening. It sounds like a hurricane. It's really a little unnerving at times.
Along with all the destruction, the fires are also being blamed for a number of injuries, some serious. This is correspondent Mike Rogers.
I just got a call from a source who tells me people are coming out of the hillside of Malibu to Duke's Malibu covered in burns. My source tells me no less than half a dozen people who didn't evacuate when they were supposed to are now suffering burn injuries. Also, a 25-year-old LAFD firefighter has sustained a serious head injury and has been rushed to a local hospital.
Los Angeles County Fire spokeswoman Sheila Kelleher says weather conditions in the area right now are making it that much harder to battle these flames.
Our biggest challenge is this wind along with the topography as well as the low relative humidity and this dry that we have that hasn't had much rain over the last 3 years.
Well, there are now at least 3 active wildfires burning simultaneously. I'll tell you what, it is cold outside. Single-digit real feels again today. Run it down for us, meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Unfortunately, today is going to be another very windy, cold day across the tri-state. Those winds gusting to 40 miles per hour from time to time, driving AccuWeather the real field temperatures, much like yesterday, down into the single digits through the morning hours and barely into the teens this afternoon in places. It'll remain windy and cold through the day tomorrow as this powerful storm system in Atlantic Canada just doesn't budge. It finally moves away a little far enough on Friday that it's still breezy, but nowhere near as windy, and temperatures can rise well up into the 30s. I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg. The full 4-day forecast in less than 10 minutes on New York's weather station, 1010 winds on 92.3 FM.
So how are New Yorkers handling the freezing cold temps? Glenn Schuck hit the streets this morning.
With my iced coffee in hand and no hat, I never wear a hat, I chatted with Xenia at her coffee cart. She was complaining about no business because of the brutal temperature, so come on, let's lift her spirits.
These 2 months, January, February, it's the worst for business. For me, I'm a miserable person these 2 months.
Well, you don't seem miserable.
And I'm not a miserable person, but this cold makes me miserable because I have to drive the van here. The van has no heat.
Oh, so you have no heat in your
I
van?
have no heat in the van.
But so where do you work? Oh, you got a little heater here.
Yeah,
Let's put our feet on it. Yeah, I can feel it. It works.
Let me tell you, I can't wait to go home because I'm freezing my, you-know-what off.
And you know what they say? It's never good when you freeze your you-know-what off. Glenn Schuck, 1010 winds, 92.3 FM. All right, yeah, it's cold here in Midtown.
Winds news time 8:46. Word out this morning, Donald Trump has filed an emergency petition with the Supreme Court to block his sentencing, which is set for Friday. The president-elect was rejected again, this time an appeals court rejected Mr. Trump's bid to delay Friday's sentencing and the hush money conviction. Legal expert Lori Levinson on why Judge Ellen Gesmer seemed unmoved by Mr. Trump's argument.
The judge in the hush money case is not going to put Donald Trump in jail, so it's not likely to interfere with his work as the president.
And once again, word out this morning, Donald Trump has filed an emergency petition with the Supreme Court to block his sentencing, which is set for Friday. NYPD investigating a deadly stabbing from last night in Staten Island, on Staten Island. They say officers responding to a 911 call for an assault on Henderson Avenue, right across the street from Corporal Thompson Park. They found the victim, 43-year-old Janira Roundtree, suffering from a stab wound to the chest. She was rushed to Richmond University Medical Center. She didn't survive. There's no word yet on a possible motive for the stabbing, and so far, no arrests have been made. Search also on for the suspect in a pretty vicious attack last night in Times Square. Police say a guy went up to a food vendor over on 49th and 8th, grabbed the lid from his soda cooler, bashed him in the face with it, knocking out a few teeth from this fella. They say the guy then grabbed about $3,500 from the vendor's pocket and made a run for it. He hasn't been seen since. Anyone who knows anything about this one, please call Crime Stoppers, 800-577-TIPS. The wake is later today at Evergreen Memorial Funeral Home in Middletown, New Jersey for Billy DeMeo, the 25-year-old, one of the 14 people killed in the New Year's Day terror attack in New Orleans. He was born in East Islip, Long Island, but later moved to Homedale, New Jersey, where he was known as a rare soul, defined by humility, kindness, and humor, and for giving back to the community by volunteering for the high school lacrosse program. Billy was also a teammate of ours here at Odyssey, New York. A fundraiser has been set up to support Billy's family. You can get more information by searching Billy DeMeo at GoFundMe.com. Former President Jimmy Carter lying in state this morning in Washington ahead of his funeral tomorrow at the National Cathedral.
At the Capitol, Vice President Kamala Harris remembering Carter as a president ahead of his time.
Jimmy Carter was that all too rare example of a gifted man who also walks with humility, modesty, and grace.
As the nation pauses to honor this remarkable century of service.
That's correspondent Terry Moran. President Biden will deliver the eulogy at Carter's funeral. President-elect Trump is expected to be in attendance. Wins news time, 8:49.
The magic dragon lived by the sea.
Singer Singer-songwriter Peter Yarrow has died. He was the Peter part of the folk group Peter, Paul, and Mary. His representative confirms that Yarrow died of bladder cancer. The group started performing in New York City nightclubs and coffee houses in 1961. Yarrow co-wrote Puff the Magic Dragon, which he says was not about marijuana, but leaving childhood behind to become an adult. Peter Yarrow was 86 years old.
A little less conversation, a little more action. All this aggravation is that.
Well, who wants to do a little hip shaking at the diner today? Ellen's Stardust Diner over on Broadway, celebrating the king of rock and roll's birthday today. You can call it an Elvis extravaganza, if you will. Starts at 11. The Retro Diner is going to transport all their guests back in time for a rock and Elvis birthday bash. You'll get great performances, Elvis-themed bites, photo ops with Elvis's wax figure from Madame Tussauds. Got a little eggs and Elvis, little pancakes and Presley, my friends. Got to get on over there.
Attention small business owners needing